My beautiful friends, today I want to talk to you about something from the perspective of a software developer. Bugs in systems. When we say bug in the software world, what do we mean? An error that has crept into the code, difficult to notice, usually looking small but carrying the potential to bring down the entire system. Sometimes a single character, sometimes a misplaced comma, sometimes just one line. And until you find that error, the system slowly deteriorates. Performance drops, resources get consumed, but the error is so small, so invisible, that finding where it is can sometimes take weeks. I'm Kent. I spent years in the software world, and I know this very well. The most dangerous bugs are not the ones that crash the system suddenly. The most dangerous bugs are the ones that drain the system slowly, silently, without being noticed, until one day, everything comes to a grinding halt. Today, I'm going to talk to you about exactly this kind of bug in your financial life. The subscription trap, the most insidious, most invisible, most innocently appearing financial leak of modern life. And we're going to examine together how this leak brings down your system, treating it just like a bug. Let's start with a scene. You woke up in the morning, you picked up your phone, you opened a music streaming app, music is playing. While having breakfast, you opened Netflix, watched an episode. On the way to work, another app for listening to podcasts. During lunch break, a digital news site subscription. When you come home in the evening if you play games, a gaming subscription. Before bed, a meditation app. And perhaps, alongside all of these, a cloud storage subscription, a VPN subscription, an online learning platform, a digital magazine, each of these somewhere between a few and $15 a month, each one looking small on its own, each one seeming reasonable on its own, each one feeling indispensable on its own. But all of them together silently every month, flowing out of your account. Now I want to ask you a question. How many paid subscriptions do you currently have active? Can you count all of them? Most likely, you can't. And that is exactly the bug itself. There is a process running in your system. It's consuming resources every month, but you're not even aware that process exists. In software, we call this a zombie process. It's running, but not doing anything useful, just consuming resources. And in your financial system, exactly the same thing is happening. Let's talk some numbers. Research shows that people underestimate the number of subscriptions they have by about 40% on average. So if you actually have 10 subscriptions, when you guess you say 6, this gap is not small. This gap is money leaving your account every month. Consider this too. When the digital subscriptions of an average young professional are added up, how much does it come to monthly? A music streaming platform, Netflix, or another series platform, YouTube Premium, cloud storage, a VPN service, perhaps an online learning platform, perhaps a gaming subscription. When you add these up one by one, you can easily reach somewhere between $50 and $150 a month. And that's only digital subscriptions. I haven't even counted gym memberships, magazine subscriptions, grocery delivery subscriptions, or beauty box subscriptions. Let's say $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. What would happen if that were redirected to investments for 10 years at 10% annual return? It would approach around $20,000. $20,000. Just from subscriptions you hadn't noticed. But I need to say this too. The real problem with subscriptions doesn't stem from their existence, but from the lack of awareness about them. Because some subscriptions genuinely create value. A platform that develops you, a tool that increases your productivity, a service you actually use and that adds value to your life. Cutting those makes no sense, but cleaning up the zombie processes running in your system, meaning closing subscriptions you don't use or don't get value from, that's a completely different thing. And that's the essence of today's topic. Now I want to show you how the subscription trap works. In other words, the source code of this bug. Companies know this business very well, and they use deliberately designed psychological mechanisms. The first one, the free trial trap. They offer you a 7-day, 14-day, sometimes 30-day free trial. They ask you to enter your credit card details, and when the trial period ends, charges are automatically deducted. Most people have already forgotten about the subscription by the time that first deduction arrives. The free trial is actually not free. For them, it's a customer acquisition strategy. For you, it's the cleverest way of hooking you in by distracting your attention. The second one, the small amount illusion, $4.99 a month, $7.99 a month, $12.99 a month. These numbers look so small that making a decision about them feels almost meaningless. The price of a coffee, the price of a sandwich. Who thinks about things like that? But that is exactly the purpose of the design. To make the decision feel so insignificant that the brain doesn't even engage its decision-making process. You just click. The third one, cancellation barriers. Starting a subscription is usually 2 clicks, but canceling, 5 screens, 3 confirmation questions, are you sure you want to cancel page, a discount offer, a we're sad to see you go message. This is intentional design. By adding friction, they reduce the cancellation rate. And it works, because most people give up when they encounter that friction. The fourth one, price increase silence. You subscribed when the price was $4.99, but 6 months later you look, and it's $7.99. But the notification was so quiet, such a small email, that you didn't even notice, or you noticed but brushed it off with, well, what's the big deal? That brushing off is exactly the reaction the system wants. The fifth one, non-use numbness. You're not using the subscription, but the deduction comes every month. And after a while, this deduction becomes so habitual that the brain codes it as a fixed expense, like an electricity bill, like a water bill. But in return for your electricity and water bill, you're getting something. In return for a subscription you don't use, only a number gets deleted from your account. My beautiful friends, now I want to show you a systematic way to detect and clean up this bug. We're going to call this a subscription audit, and doing it even once can create a serious difference in your financial system. Step 1. Lay out all your subscriptions. Open your bank account statement or credit card statement. Look at the last 3 months. Mark every recurring payment. Write its name, amount, and when it gets deducted on a list. This exercise alone shocks most people, because until you see them, the brain doesn't process these payments as real money. Once they become visible, everything changes. Step 2. Divide every subscription into 3 categories. First, active and valuable. I'm genuinely using it, and it's adding value to me. Second, passive but keeping. I'm not using it much right now, but I will soon, or I understand its value. Third, zombie. I don't know why it's still open. I don't use it. I'm closing it. When most people do this exercise, they find at least 3 to 5 subscriptions in the zombie category. Step 3, close zombie subscriptions immediately. Today, don't delay. Because delaying means acknowledging the bug exists and choosing not to fix it. Every closed subscription is a resource added back to your system. Every month, a little more money goes toward investment, savings, or somewhere it genuinely adds value. Step 4. Create a new subscription protocol. From now on, ask yourself these 3 questions before any new subscription decision. Am I actually going to use this subscription, or could I just potentially use it? When I calculate this subscription on a monthly basis, how many hours of my life is it worth? Is there a free or cheaper alternative? These 3 questions will end the vast majority of unnecessary subscription decisions before they even begin. Now let's go a little deeper, because the subscription trap isn't limited only to digital platforms. This trap comes in different disguises, and you need to recognize all of them. The first disguise, auto-renewing memberships. You have a gym membership, you go 3 times a month, sometimes not at all, but the deduction comes every month. Going to the gym is a good thing, but paying for a gym you don't go to isn't spending money. It's burning money. The second disguise, bundle traps. Your phone carrier offered you a package. It included a music platform, cloud storage, a magazine subscription. You got this package for something you were already using, but you never use the extras inside it. Yet every month you're paying for the entire package. The third disguise, the gradual upgrade trap. You started with a free app. Then it offered a premium feature at a reasonable price. You took it. Then it offered an upper tier package for a little more. You took that too. And now the amount you're paying monthly for a service is 3 times what you imagined at the beginning. App designers call this an upgrade funnel. They're pulling you step by step toward more expensive plans. The fourth disguise, social subscription pressure. Your friends use a platform. You need to subscribe to that platform to join a group conversation. Or a content creator you love shares exclusive content only for subscribers. The need for social connection overrides the financial decision, and without realizing it, you subscribe due to social pressure. My beautiful friends, here I need to talk about a very important concept, hedonic adaptation. In psychology, this concept describes the following. When people acquire something new, they're very happy at first, but over time, that new thing becomes normal. Happiness returns to its baseline level, and the search for something new begins to capture the same happiness again. Subscriptions operate on exactly this cycle. You subscribe to a new platform. The first week, you use it excitedly. The second week, less so. The third week, rarely. By the end of a month, that platform has stopped being part of your life, but the automatic deduction continues to be part of your life. The excitement passes. The payment stays. And this cycle keeps repeating with every new subscription, on every new platform, in every new trial period. This is why the subscription model is both so profitable for companies and so dangerous for consumers. Now, I want to talk to you about a dimension of this topic that rarely gets discussed, the mental cost of digital subscriptions. The financial cost is already obvious, but the mental cost is far more insidious. Think about it. How many platforms do you have access to? Netflix, YouTube Premium, a music platform, a podcast app, an ebook platform, and every evening, you're trying to decide what you want to do. That's too many options. And research shows that excessive options lead to decision fatigue. The time and mental energy you spend deciding what to watch can actually become more exhausting than the content itself. This phenomenon, called the paradox of choice, demonstrates that too many options actually make people more unhappy. So while accumulating those platforms, you're not only spending money, you're also consuming your mental bandwidth. And this consumption affects your daily decisions, your capacity to focus, and your overall level of well-being. Let's now talk about something very practical. How do you perform subscription optimization? Let's treat this like a system. Every 3 months, put it in the calendar. Subscription audit day. On that day, do the following. Open your bank statement. List all recurring payments. Evaluate each one. How frequently am I using it? How many times did I open this app or service last month? What's the value ratio? How much value am I getting compared to what I'm paying? Is there an alternative? Is there a way to get this cheaper or for free? Is sharing possible? Can I switch to a family plan or share with friends? When you answer these questions honestly for each subscription, the picture becomes clear. And doing this audit every 3 months is the most reliable way to catch that slow leak. Let me add one more thing. Subscription management apps are available. When connected to your account, they automatically detect all your subscriptions, categorize them, and present you with a summary. Using these is the fastest way to make the system visible. Now, I want to present you with a scenario. 2 different people, both earning $2,000 a month. The first one pays no attention whatsoever to subscriptions. Total monthly subscription payments, $120. $1,440 a year, not even aware of it. The second one does a subscription audit every 3 months, cleaned up the zombie subscriptions, kept the ones they actively use and get value from. Total monthly subscription payments, $35. The difference is $85 a month. They direct this $85 every month toward investment. $1,020 a year in investment. What happens after 20 years at 10% return? That $85 turns into approximately $64,000. $64,000. Just through subscription auditing, just by cleaning up zombie processes. My beautiful friends, I also need to talk about another danger waiting for you here. The future of the subscription economy. Companies are increasingly shifting to subscription models. Software you once bought one time now comes as a monthly subscription. Apps you once bought one time now come with an annual fee. Even cars have started offering subscription features. A monthly payment for your seat's heating function. A monthly payment for navigation. This trend is continuing and accelerating. This is a perfect model for companies. Regular, predictable, automatic income. A system where an active action is required to lose a customer. If you don't cancel, money keeps flowing. Being aware of this trend will be a critical part of protecting your financial health in the coming years, because the number of products converted to subscriptions will keep increasing, and each one will seem reasonable on its own. But viewed all together, they'll be invisible bugs consuming the resources of your system. Finally, I want to say this to you. This video is not a call to stay away from subscriptions. Modern life requires digital services, and some of these services genuinely add value to our lives. The real message is this: be aware, audit your system, make conscious choices. For every subscription, ask yourself this: is this an active and valuable process in my financial system? Or is it a zombie process consuming resources? When you ask this question regularly, your financial system starts running much more efficiently. Less leakage, more savings, faster growth, and the road to that critical mass gets a little shorter. I learned one more thing from the software world. The best systems are systems that receive constant maintenance. Errors are found and cleaned. Performance is monitored and optimized. Unnecessary processes are shut down. Your financial system works in exactly the same way. Regular auditing, regular optimization, and conscious decisions. When these three work together, the system runs efficiently. And an efficiently running system gets you to your goals much faster. See you soon, my beautiful friends.